Something went wrong with my heart transplant. I've always had a weak heart. Not just physically. I've always been scared of everything. My own shadow, loud noises, unfamiliar faces. So when the doctors told me my murmur was more than just a murmur, it was terrifying, but not surprising. A year of tests, appointments, and medications led to the same conclusion. I wouldn't make it to Christmas. At first, I spiraled. I drank, spent money I didn't have, and did stupid things because I didn't know how else to cope with dying. Then came the miracle. A young woman named Laura had been declared brain dead, and I was next in line for her heart. I drove to the hospital slowly, carefully, thinking maybe I'd be allowed to live after all. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Her name pulsed through my thoughts like it was stitched behind my eyelids. It felt wrong not to put a face to the person who was saving me. I had overheard 2 nurses mention her ward, so I wandered the halls until I found a room. She was pale and still. A woman sat beside her holding her hand, Laura's mother. I introduced myself awkwardly. She looked at me like she already knew. "Thank you for visiting. I know it's strange, but a part of her will live on in you. It's what she would have wanted." I sat beside Laura. "How did she—" I couldn't finish the question. Her mother gave a tight smile. "She worked in women's shelters. She fell for someone she shouldn't have. He killed her, but she lived to help others." "I'm so sorry," I said. "Someone like Laura convinced me to leave my ex. She probably saved me too." I reached out and gently squeezed Laura's hand, and then she squeezed back, hard. Her fingernails dug into my palm. I pulled away, horrified. Laura's mother only looked on. "She does that to me sometimes. Muscle spasms, the doctors say. There's none of her left." I looked at the tiny crescent moons of blood on my hand and didn't know what to say. The surgery went well. I spent the first day floating on pain meds. On the second, Laura's mother came to visit. She looked exhausted, grief carved into her face. As she hugged me, I caught a flash of blonde hair in the hallway. Laura's hair. Then pain. A sharp, crushing squeeze in my hand. I winced, and Laura's mother panicked, asking if it was my heart. I reassured her, and she left, clearly shaken. When I looked down, there were new crescent-shaped wounds below the ones Laura had left. Back home, everything felt wrong. Her heart beat strong, almost too strong. I told myself that's what a healthy heart must feel like, but the unease never left. That night, I dreamed of Laura's hospital room. Her mother was gone. The window was open. Her blonde hair whipped around her face. I was pulled toward her, hands pinned, unable to move. Her eyes snapped open, cloudy, dead. "Get out!" she rasped. The thudding in my chest grew unbearable, drumming so loud it drowned out thought. I woke up screaming. The pounding continued. Laura's heart echoing from inside me. I couldn't cover it. It was coming from within. I stumbled from bed, gasping, searching for my phone. I needed help. Then I heard it again. "Get out!" A guttural whisper, animal-like, slithered between beats. I crawled into the hall, screaming. My neighbor opened his door to find me collapsed on the floor. He drove me to the hospital as I sobbed in his passenger seat. Dozens of tests later, the doctors told me nothing was wrong. Heart, normal. Blood pressure, fine. I stood at the counter, humiliated and exhausted. My phone rang. An unknown number. "Hello? This is the Thames Valley Police," the voice said. "We're calling about an incident reported at your residence at 1:30 a.m. I apologized, explaining I'd recently had surgery and panicked. That my neighbor helped me to the hospital. There was a pause. "You might want to sit down." I braced myself. "There was an attempted break-in. The suspect, Samuel Matthews, was found armed. Records show he's your former partner. You filed a restraining order in 2017. My blood ran cold. He's in custody. Officers believe he intended to harm you. He entered the flat minutes after you left." I thanked him and hung up. If I'd been there 10 minutes longer, he would have found me. I pressed my hands to my chest, stunned. The heartbeat inside me was calm, steady. Her mother had said Laura lived to protect others. Now I believe her. I think Laura saved me again, and this time, she used my own heart to do it.